Subscribe now for extra behind-the-scenes content.
Oh, we're using that later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what else
The Patreon ad is just you.
You don't know what you're missing if you don't subscribe now.
Oh,
Wow.
That's a professional, baby. That's a voice actor. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Nerds Are Talking. I'm Michael. This is my good friends Avery and Elle, and today we are joined by an actor, voiceover artist, singer, composer, game designer, Adam Lyle. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you very much. Yeah, I clearly don't have enough to do.
Yeah, it's a busy time for the industry and for you specifically.
Yeah. For sure.
So, what? So what?
So what?
So what?
That's
What is
accurate.
life?
So
What is
we
it?
met in improv class and Improv 101. And so Avery here, not the other one, Elle
Avery
has
doesn't do
been.
improv.
Avery doesn't do improv.
I don't do improv.
But Elle does improv, so we like to, any guest who does improv here or has a connection with improv, we like to kind of start with that. What drew you to take that class?
a number of things. So, to preface it, I was already familiar with UCB because I'd read the book a number of years ago.
Amazing.
Someone had recommended it to me just in terms of being a better role player because I'm also a big nerd and I play role-playing games.
Hell yeah.
Amazing.
We didn't
Nice.
talk.
Filthy
We've not
nerds.
talked about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, we actually haven't chatted about that. But so that's why I originally read the book because someone had recommended it. I think it was B-Dave recommended it on the behest of Brendan Lee Mulligan recommending it, obviously,
Oh,
because
amazing.
he's associated with it. But yeah, so I had read the book. I was kind of familiar with the system. I liked their ideas and sort of the concept of game and things. But then at the beginning of the year, well, for one, I only moved to LA 18 months ago now, give or take.
Oh, wow.
So at the time I was reading the book, it was not feasible for me to actually go take a class because I was in Vegas. There was no such thing.
Right.
Improv there is just getting drunk and gambling.
Right.
But yeah, so now that I was here, and then this year specifically, I have sort of started this journey of figuring out what I want to do creatively, and that's led me to acting. And I had an acting coach that was like, you need to do more things to just break out of your shell and be more comfortable being stupid and silly. So I was like, well, that improv sounds like a great way to do that. And
Absolutely.
since I already knew UCB, it was like, why don't I go there and actually get to take a class from those guys?
Smart. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, that is a great reason to do it, and it really does like help you get out of your shell.
Yeah, for sure.
Acting. That is an interesting thing to want to do.
Yeah.
What sort of sparked your interest in acting? Have you done acting before?
Not counting, elementary school, musicals or whatever.
Right.
No, not really. I have always been drawn to the creative arts and have never fully understood my connection to it, I think. I've often tried to fill that hole in my soul with music, which works to some extent, but it was never quite right. And I, early on in life, was discouraged from exploring creative opportunities for the sake of financial stability.
Right.
It was very much like, you're valedictorian, you're going to go get a real job, you're going to go be successful, and you're going to do those things. And I was like, okay, but those things are really friggin' boring.
Yeah.
Do we curse here? Should I?
Oh,
should I
absolutely.
avoid it?
Yes, no, go for it.
Really fucking boring.
Very fucking boring. Yeah, so I think a lot of it was just I had never fully explored what I wanted to do.
Wow.
And what I kind of landed on after doing some deep exploration and self-realization is that it's just, even back to like the role-playing games, it's collaborative storytelling. That's what really fuels me. Even in music, like when I have partners, when I was writing, the most time I ever spent doing music, I had a co-writer. And we were writing and recording an album, and it was amazing. And as soon as he moved on and had to do other things in life, I kind of lost interest because writing by myself wasn't very satisfying. So yeah, the more I explored, it was like that. Like I did voice acting for a number of years. That was sort of the next step. It was like let me try and get closer to doing the thing I want to do. And I approached voice acting from the realm of just being a huge video game nerd, and wanting to get deeply involved with that. And I had already kind of done that on the tech side of things, because my tech career, I worked in games and casino games and indie games and stuff. But I wasn't getting to be the creative force behind those games. I was just building tools for the creative people, which is cool, but it's not satisfying for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so that led to voice acting, and then voice acting, I was like, okay, how can I get better at that? And I was like, maybe I just need to study acting to be a better voice actor. And then the acting coach that I spoke with was just like, if that's what you want, that will help, but why are you limiting yourself? And I was like,
It really does all tie in together, and especially in this like society and day and age or whatever, it's like you almost can't just be one of the creative aspects now. You kind of have to be a all-star, at least have a few domains you can go into,
right.
Especially if you want to, make a living and stuff out of it, which so many creatives do, is you have to, be able to do the voice acting, but then also do the normal acting, and that will be a lot.
Like everyone's basically becoming like a one-person production company at this point to get in the door wherever you can,
Right, and
including different disciplines.
Like, my biggest gripe is that, like, you're supposed to be good at the marketing side, and, like, I suck
That's rough.
at that. I don't want to be good at that. I don't care about that stuff. I hate social media. Like, I do it out of necessity, and I still barely do it. It's like I have to make myself. But, that is becoming, like, that you're kind of expected to have that presence. I'm like, I just want to get so successful and famous that I can just pay somebody else to do that and have fake social media accounts so I don't ever have to touch it again. That would be great.
Dream.
That's the dream, for real.
Yeah. Because, like, I get the value of engaging with fandoms and things, but, like, I literally have to set a clock and to remind me, like, hey, go make a post. And it's like, okay, but what am I going to post about? Right now I'm staring at the wall. That's not interesting. So I'm just going to make some shit up and see. And that feels very fake to me.
Yeah, it's become like a CV almost now, where people will look at it instead of, especially for like creative pathways, they're looking at your Instagrams and your things like that before they'll go and then look at your actual acclimates and stuff, which can work in your favor sometimes, but most of the time it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's like, what do you post? And they want to see stuff from the past, but then most of your past self is cringy, and do you really want them seeing that? And then it's like,
right.
You don't want to just do recent stuff, and it's
such
an easy feat.
Yeah, it's such a complicated balancing act, and all of that stuff feels like this, like you were saying, this barrier to the actual job that you want to do, which is creating, which is acting, which is writing, which is like I'm more of a writer than like an actor, and improv kind of I figured would help me with that, and it kind of did, because now you're thinking in like multiple ways and improvising off yourself. Sure. And again, in order to be a writer, why is your stuff going to be read over anyone else's stuff, right? And so it's like you need to network, and you need to promote yourself, and you need to know people. And it's like, well, how do I know people if I don't do stuff? And then how do I go to stuff and do stuff if I don't know people? And it's like this whole complicated like feedback loop of the shit that you don't want to do to get to the shit that you do want to do.
100%.
I was just reading something recently. I was talking about, it was more acting oriented, but it was acting is both an art and a craft, and the ability to act is your art. The ability to sell yourself as an actor is the craft, like to navigate the business side of things, and like you have to be good at both of them.
That's true.
I'm not
That's
good at
wild.
the second one.
Wow.
It is such a thing, and it's also so funny because so many creatives, like obviously the creative industry in general is such like a word of mouth and connections, and you have to go network and do things you don't want to do. And then also so many of the creators are neurodivergent and like don't like socializing and don't like doing all of that stuff. And then it's a room of people who don't want to be there, but everybody's there for the same goal of trying to network yourself, but not completely knowing how. And it's just a whole nother loop.
So, like, once you get absolutely, that's just another thing on top of that situation. Like, I don't know if how you are, Adam. What a strange question to ask, but I'm going to ask it like mentally.
Please.
Like, do you have any like a ADHD, dyslexia kind of situation going on?
I'm a disaster. No,
Are we all?
I have never been officially diagnosed with ADHD, but that's mostly because when I was a kid, it was a faux pas to like admit that your kid had something wrong with them, and medications were evil things that you shouldn't use. So I fully suspect that I'm ADHD, and I've considered like maybe speaking to my therapist about getting properly evaluated, but it's never. I don't want to like claim it as like a legitimate condition for myself because it's never been particularly limiting for me. Like I can see where it affects me and it like alters the way that I perceive and behave and things, but it like I've had a successful career and it hasn't really slowed me down. So it's not been something I was super worried about. Like, let me go figure out how to fix this. It's probably like my life would probably be better if I did, but I'm getting by. It's that's also just me being stupidly stoic for no reason. But
hey, everybody's got it at some point. Be stupidly stoked for no reason. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Speaking of being successful, the fact that with acting, and if ever I have like a long pause, we'll just cut that out.
Pauses are important. It's the rests in the music.
You know what? You're right. It's the questions you don't ask.
Right.
That was a very convinced right. Yes. That's how you know it's working.
That's a question,
That's how you know
Michael.
it's working. So,
For audio listeners,
when you-
silence.
exactly, we don't. Hey, audio listeners, what's
Joy.
up?
We're just taking a room tone. It's fine.
We're taking a room
Exactly.
tone. Coming to LA, that's sort of a scary proposition. And you were in Vegas before, you said?
Yeah, so I have slowly been migrating westward. Back in college, I've always had this sneaking suspicion that Los Angeles was where I needed to end up because I loved movies and video games and music and like literally everything I love is right here.
Right.
And so out of college, I was like, I need to find a job in Los Angeles. And I looked. I even had a couple of companies fly me out and interview me and things, but none of it ever worked out. And I was terrified of the idea of just moving out here without a job because, you know, I was from the rural backwoods of nowhere. And so, like, it was cheap to live there. Like, moving here was a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I've just sort of been, like, gradually pushing myself over time. So, like, I started on the East Coast. Then I moved to Panama City, Florida, which is like the Gulf Coast. And then from there I ended up in Vegas, which was much closer to the West Coast, but still not quite.
Right.
And relatively inexpensive comparatively, like more expensive than where I was, but considerably less expensive than Los Angeles. And then finally I ended up working for a company, well, two companies in a row, actually, that were here anyway.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So it was like, you know, I could probably just make the jump. It still hurt because Nevada doesn't have state taxes and California has a lot of state taxes. And so like making the same salary was suddenly like making a lot less money and living in a more expensive place at the same time.
Yeah.
It's been almost 2 years now, but I moved from Australia to London in end of 2024, and the conversion rate is about double. So that was really fun to go like, okay, so I have half as much money now, basically, you know, when you're looking at things. And then things in the shop still seem to be the same price. It just doesn't quite make sense. It's not a fun sort of jump to do.
It was definitely, it's like sticker shock. You get here and you're like, oh, like my money just doesn't go as far as it used to. Like I was accumulating savings before, now I'm going into debt every month. So it's like...
Yeah. I'm from California, and so always that I've just always been screwed money-wise.
Right. So it just feels normal for you. It's fine.
But you've just been used to it.
I'm just used to it. I'm just the frog boiling in water.
I was like living the lush life of having money, and now I'm like, wait, I don't have money.
Yeah.
I used to love getting like birthday gifts and stuff from my grandparents who were in UK, because they would send me £50 and that would be $100, and I'd be like, I'm rich.
Right.
True.
And now I'm like, okay, thanks for my $50, Mum. I've got £25. Maybe I can buy a meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bad life.
It's brutal.
So you recently acted in a short film. What was that process like?
So I've done a number of them
Right.
over the past few months. I think that was my sixth, which is stupid.
Hell yeah.
Don't do that many in 3 months. That was dumb. I mean, it was great experience-wise, but I'm tired.
Yes,
it was
I
a lot.
bet.
I get addicted to successes, and so like I booked the first couple things I went for, and I was like, wow, this is cool, I should do more of this. And then I did a bunch of it and realized that I was shooting like every weekend, and it was crazy while still having a 9-to-5 job. But
Oh gosh, yeah.
the last one I did was by far the most difficult one. It was a few weeks ago. I guess it's been 3 weeks now, today, actually. But it was viewer beware, some triggering, very heavy stuff.
Hello, Future Michael here to just give you a content warning for the next 10 or 15 minutes of the podcast. There will be discussion of fictional shootings, self-harm, alcoholism, and suicide, as well as some discussion on fictional racists and white supremacy. If you or anyone you know is dealing with thoughts of self-harm and suicidal ideation, feel free to call or text the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 988. The Trevor Project's 24/7 suicide hotline for lesbian, gay, and bisexual youth is 1-866-488-7386, or text START to 678-678. The Disaster Distress Helpline, which is also on this webpage I'm reading, is 1-800-985-5990. Press 2 for Spanish. And might as well throw in the Veterans Crisis Line, 988, then select 1. All right, thank you, and enjoy the rest of the episode.
I specifically took the role because I knew it would be challenging. Everything I had done before that had been pretty, well, I did one where I played a demonic jester, which was kind of hard because it was strange, but it was so strange that it was just fun. It wasn't like a lot of work. It was like, just go be as stupid as possible and maybe a little bit scary.
Okay, that's amazing.
Which was a lot of fun. But the one after that, I played a felon, ex-con, gang member, white supremacist.
Whoa.
Whose son had just committed a mass shooting on his 18th birthday.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Students write this stuff, and I'm like, this is a moving story. I understand where it came from, but Jesus, like, give me a break. So the scene was actually the aftermath of that, and it was the husband and wife who were both alcoholics, although my character had been sober for a couple of years.
Well, good for him.
Yeah. The one thing he wasn't a complete piece of shit. Anyway, they were kind of fighting over what to do next and whose fault it was. And so, like, the wife was very much in, like, acceptance mode and, like, this is awful and a terrible thing happened and what do we do now? And he was very much in denial, like, no, we're not going to settle for this. The cops aren't going to keep my kid. You know, we're going to fight this. We're going to do something. All bluster and bravado and, bullshit. And so they argue about it for a while and they throw barbs back and forth about who was the worst parent. And then he kills himself. That was
Whoa.
To put a bow on it.
That is a hard one to do.
Those students are shooting for it. They're really just going full force.
And Let's go hard.
Yeah, they went hard. There was only a few reasons I was comfortable with this. One, it was written by an African American student, so I was like, if I'm going to play something this like touchy, like the fact that it came from someone who is going to be sensitive about that, gave me a little faith that it would be done well. And I also didn't have to do anything particularly egregious. It was a lot of implied terrible things. That's cool. I also have a standing rule now as I get into bigger projects. We'll see if it holds. But I won't play a complete piece of shit human unless they die.
There you go.
I love that.
Great.
I love that.
Yeah.
Then it's a satisfying ending for you.
Yeah, as long as I'm not making them cool or something, like, no, I'm not about that life. But
that's awesome.
Like, no, he kind of, he took care of it.
This guy sucks.
He's awful.
You need those characters in films like that to then show the...
Right.
You have to show the negativity of the world to be able to show the positive sides. And, nobody wants to play it in a way, but it's so important.
Stories need to be told, for sure.
And having the good people play them is a lot better than having the bad people play them, because at least then but they're good people. I don't know where I was going with that.
You actually care about the impact, right? Versus just like, this is a Tuesday.
And like a good person playing a bad person is always going to be a better performance because you can understand the nuances of why your character is the way they are, right? Like look at famously Christoph Waltz winning the Academy Award for Inglourious Bastards, playing like a full-on Nazi and like a terrible person, but like knowing where he is coming from in that and knowing what that is. Or even at this last year's Oscars, Amy Madigan winning the Best Supporting again for Weapons, playing a truly horrific person who happens to be a cool witch, but is a horrific person. Like villain roles or bad people, both in the dramatic side of things, in like what you were doing, which is more of like a humanistic drama, as well as these more big character villain type people, is such like a rich acting vein, right? Like to be able to tell those stories or bring those stories to life.
Yeah, it's the biggest, like, as an actor, it's fun to step so far outside of your shoes. Like, playing a character, like, I'm doing a scene for an acting class right now where the character is a lot like me. I mean, there are big differences, but there's also just a ton of stuff we have in common. So playing him is, like, it's fun, but I don't have to do a lot of inner work to figure out how to connect with him, because he and I are pretty similar.
Right.
But like sort of just getting to step, I mean, it's like playing a role-playing game. Like you get to be a 7-foot tall vampire warrior or something. Like you can't do that in real life. That's why it's fun. I don't play like a 5'10" middle-aged white guy when I do role-playing games usually, because I already know how to do that, and it's it's got its perks, but it's not that exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, you bring an interesting point though, because like with weapons or like that the jester thing that I did, like villains themselves, when they're so beyond human, it's almost less dark and painful, because we can kind of look at it. It's almost humorous, right? Like they're just so crazy and so weird. Even in weapons, I mean, she was terrifying, but like she was also goofy. Like if you step outside the context of a horror movie, like she looked like a clown. Like clowns are kind of like, that's why they're used in horror so much. It's kind of the same idea, it just depends on how you apply it.
In the same way
when
that
the monster is a human and it's like a real human that could be living next door, that hurts. Like it's hard to do that.
It's too real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
being a person, like a person, and who you can feel the humanity of, but how that humanity has gone so wrong.
Yeah, well, and like the first thing you have to figure out, and it's something that I'm still learning, is that if you're going to play a character, you can't judge them. You have to put that aside. And so if you're sitting here the whole time like, this guy's a piece of shit, I hate him, I don't want anything to do with him, you're never going to be able to play that character. Meisner said something interesting. It was like, if you're going to be an actor, you have to forego the idea of being a gentleman. Because sometimes you're going to be a piece of shit. And that's just, you're going to have to do it.
Yeah. That's so
now,
cool.
he used that as an excuse to be a dick sometimes, just in general, I think. But, yeah,
But hey,
so like...
but can you still apply it?
Yeah, and so, like, with that character, I struggled for weeks to figure out, like, where my connection point was, because he was just so awful. I'm like, I knew a lot of people like him growing up, and that makes it even more painful for me to, like, try and figure it out. But it occurred to me probably on, like, and it's funny how you don't notice some of these details first, second, third, fourth read through of a script, but I had probably read through it like 7 or 8 times by this point. And the scene starts, he walks in, he's carrying a bottle of liquor, he's been to the liquor store, and his wife, who is an active alcoholic, hasn't tried to quit, who's already drinking, starts giving him shit about being a hypocrite, and like, yeah, you were sober for 2 years, blah, blah, you know, just really laying into him about it. And so it started off on this foot of like, his drinking being a contentious point. But what I realized after reading the script for like the billionth time or whatever, nowhere in the script did it ever actually say that he drank. It just said that he came in with liquor.
Ooh, that's cool.
And so for then it was like, well, what if, because he's sober, like that's the one decent thing he's done as a human, is like he's clearly trying to do this for his family. And so I was like, okay, what if it becomes the struggle for him of not taking that drink?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So then the whole scene was just kind of like me thinking about it, fighting with the wife, and like going back to the bottle and like fighting that urge. And it sort of became a symbol for his hope. It was like the last piece of hope he had.
Oh.
And so at the end, I decided to take the drink right before he went and did the deed.
Whoa, and that's losing the battle. Wow.
Yeah.
That's losing the battle. That's so
It's impactful.
impactful. That's so
Yeah,
rich.
I suddenly was empathetic towards him, and I felt.
Yeah. You saw his struggle as a person, like trying to be a better person,
Yeah.
trying to find meaning. That's so cool. That's so neat.
It's such
Like,
a skill
how
to
do
be
I
able
say
to
that?
do,
Yeah.
to dissect a character and really look at it from the bones up and find. Because every person
what
in
drives
the
them.
world you will have a connection to.
Right.
And like that's the thing about acting, is finding that connection and then being able to play it and add your own bits and stuff. But it is so much harder when it is a character that you don't think you could relate to at all, to then
Right.
still be able to find that and then play it in such an impactful way is just phenomenal.
And also, interestingly, in a way, it's game. Like the fact that you had that thing with like the bottle, like that then ends up becoming this tennis match of the character back and forth between despair and hope, right? That's sort of what it is. And eventually, seeming in that story, despair wins. But like having that is so much more interesting than just watching someone's decline. Like, no, you're watching a struggle.
Yeah,
that's so cool. I look forward to seeing this.
Yeah, I was supposed to get the footage last night actually, and then they're late. But that's not uncommon with students, so I'm gonna have to harass them some more. Yeah, I stole that idea, the general idea technique. I learned it's theft. Even though I bought a book where it was written.
Still theft.
Right, it's theft.
Artist stealing.
That's true. It's very true.
Great artist steal.
As long as you're not a computer.
Right. Very true.
Exactly.
But Ivana Chubbuck is another big sort of method acting teacher, and she has a pretty interesting book called The Power of the Actor, and she breaks it down into like 12 significantly different steps and like techniques. She built it in this, like, the idea is to do all 12 steps. I find that it's way too much for me. Like, it's so much to try and keep in your head, but the individual pieces are all really good. And she called that, how does she describe it? She said that every character, regardless of how the scene plays out, should be trying to win.
Ooh. That kind of makes sense.
You have to kind of come at it like, even if it's a terrible scene where something awful is about to happen to you, there's something that you're trying to win, even if you don't win it. Like, nobody wants to root for a loser. So if you walk into the scene accepting whatever your fate is before it's even happened, you become dull and unwatchable.
I mean, yeah, and thinking about like the Safdie brothers movies, like Uncut Gems, or recently like Marty Supreme, like these movies about characters that cannot win the situations they're in. You can feel that desperation. You can feel the they're trying to achieve something that's impossible, but the drive of the movie is how can they make that possible? I mean, what made me think about that is in Uncut Gems, Adam Sandler's famous line of like, "This is how I win." Like, again, that is a character that is trying to find a way to win in an impossible situation. So, like, I'm now seeing that. There's no way that they didn't read that book before writing that movie, I imagine.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, definitely, like, watching struggle is probably the most interesting, basic human thing to watch in a story, right? Is some kind of struggle. Even like a romantic comedy is people trying to find love or having a struggle in a relationship, right?
Overcoming their awkwardness or getting past social norms or anxieties. There's there's the tension. That's the struggle is what builds the tension.
Struggle is what builds the tension. Tension is what connects people to the story. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
has to be something
cool.
there.
I got to read some more acting books, honestly.
I've been just deep diving for months.
Oof.
That's great.
That's my next goal, is to start audio booking books on development acting and all of this.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
I highly recommend. It's not even an acting book technically. I think she originally wrote it for writers. But it's Julia Cameron, who is James Cameron's sister, and I hate introducing her based on the men in her life, but because you probably don't know who she is as a writing teacher. It's James Cameron's sister. She was married to Martin Scorsese. She's directed and produced films, and she's a screenwriter, and she most prominently is a teacher for writers and artists. But she wrote a book called The Artist's Way some number of years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard that book it's a big in the improv.
Yeah, it becomes a way to sort of connect with yourself and what your goals are. And she wrote it as a means of unblocking people who were suffering from writer's block, is the idea. But it's not just a book, it's a program. It's like, here are things that you need to do in your day-to-day life. Here are like ways you need to figure out how to treat yourself better, how to do things. So it all starts with, like, it's called the morning pages. Every morning before you do anything, you get up and you write 3 pages of whatever, stream of consciousness, whatever's on your mind. I don't want to do this. Fuck you. This is stupid. It doesn't matter. You just have to write something down by hand.
Amazing.
Which borrows a little bit. There's a psychological therapy practice called unconscious writing or subconscious writing or something like that, where you just move the pen and let shit come out, and it doesn't
automatic
really matter.
writing.
So it's like that, and it's like, it might be creative stuff you're writing, it might literally just be what's on your mind, it might be a problem you didn't know you were thinking about, but it starts to illuminate a lot of things that are stressing you or that you hadn't thought about, or whatever the case may be. And so that was the acting coach I saw. That was the very first thing. She was like, you need to read this book.
Yeah.
And that was how I figured out I wanted to be an actor. I didn't even know that at that point.
Wow, that's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah,
oh, that's so
so-
interesting.
I recommend
You
that to
actually have to
literally
get out
everybody.
of bed at a reasonable time and,
Yeah.
not be rushing out the door, but,
Yeah, having to go to bed, having to get up, and I found myself looking forward to it. Actually, it was like I get up, I make my coffee, I sit there, and I just write. And for the it's a 12-week program essentially, and at the end, you're kind of supposed to keep all the habits up. But the idea is that once you finish the 12 weeks, you've probably done the work, and then you could choose how often you need to continue it. But like I've kept the writing up every day. But I do find now that like if I get busy, sometimes it's 2 pages and not 3 because somebody called me or I have to go do a thing. But
how dare you?
I know,
not
and I
acceptable.
kick myself too. It's just like, damn it. Like,
Yeah. You should just
but
get a
yeah.
smaller book.
Oh,
Then
I
it
did
can still
actually.
be through-
I went because I bought the one that comes with the workbook, which is rather large
Yeah.
paper. And then when I moved out of the program, I got like just a little leather-bound journal. So the pages are much smaller, so I can get to
Nice.
3 pages a lot faster. But
You just get a post-it
Interesting.
note, and you're like, I can do
yeah,
this.
easy.
Yep.
Just kind of have like a little A, whatever this would be.
Yeah.
1 word per page.
Exactly.
Nailed it.
Got it.
The problem with me is I like to verbalize my thoughts. I think out loud a lot, to the
Get
point
that.
that if I live with someone, they think I'm insane because they'll just hear me having a full-on conversation in the other room because I'm noodling on something. So when I start writing, what inevitably happens is like I get a couple of thoughts out, and then I just like get distracted and start talking about whatever I'm thinking about, and then I realize it's been 20 minutes and I've written nothing, and I've just been babbling to myself, which is we go back to the ADHD thing we were talking about earlier. But so it takes way longer than it should. I think if I was laser focused, I could probably do 3 pages in 45 minutes or something or less, but it takes me like 90 because I'm drinking coffee and talking to myself. But yeah,
As you
absolutely,
should,
it's worth doing for anybody.
I definitely would.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's definitely helpful to me because I've like been working on a book for the past like 4 years at this point, and I used to get up and be like, I'm going to do 1,000 words before I like do anything else. I've not read The Artist's Way, but I definitely want to now because I've read Stephen King's On Writing, which is also this big like a famous book for writers. And so in reading that and reading some other books about this. So I was like 1,000 words. I got to focus on 1,000 words. And also like the writer Gary Whitta talked about how he writes 1,000 words a day regardless of anything else he does. Even if they're terrible and he has to delete them all later, it keeps his mind in writing. And I kept that up for maybe a couple months. And then it would go from 1,000 words to be like, okay, at least I can get 500. Oh, at least I can get 250. And I think that discipline and that, like you said, if I was laser focused, I could do it real quick. When I see people laser focus on something, I'm just like, how is that possible?
Right.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Because I'm
don't
also
do
like,
that.
yeah, I'm also like having conversations with myself, less like verbally, but like that dialogue going on in my head. And then I'm just like, twiddling the pen or not touching the keyboard. And then I'm like, oh, right, I got to get back to this.
I mean, to your credit, and how I hate to boost you and give you any self-confidence, Michael. Usually I'm a Michael hater here, but I'll be a Michael stan for a second. You are doing your drawing a day at the moment, which I'm very impressed by, and that routine and that is still, it's not writing, but it's a creative concept where you are each day drawing something different, and I think that's
Also, I have a bone to pick with you about that.
Yes.
Stop prefacing it with "I'm not an artist." Like, you are an artist.
Yes.
You're drawing every day.
Yes.
Thank you. I guess, when it started out, thank you. I guess so now at this point. But yeah, I wanted to preface it with like, hey, I'm not like making these beautiful drawings and doing all this kind of crazy stuff that I see people do.
An artist is somebody making art.
But yeah, I guess at this point, I'm making art,
Yeah. And I mean, even as a writer, you're an artist.
That's a good point. You know, I am doing other art.
We're our own worst critics.
We are
100%.
and so it's so hard. It's hard to like admit, I guess, to oneself that it's like, hey, I'm doing this thing. It feels so much easier to hedge and preface and do all this kind of stuff.
Well, you're also you're preconditioning. You're trying to pre-soften the blow of failure. And it's like, well, if I'm not an artist,
you're right.
I can't be mad at myself for being bad at art.
Wow, good point.
But some of them are pretty damn good, Michael.
Yeah, also,
them are
some of them I
amazing.
was like, damn, that's for somebody who's like, I'm not an artist. I can't draw that shit. Like, Jesus.
100%, yeah.
I can't draw a stick figure, so
Yeah, I can't draw shit. That's like, I've been trying to experiment with charcoal and stuff just as part of this program. And like, I mean, visual art has never been my thing. Like, my eyes don't work the right way or something.
yeah. My art teacher redrew one of my drawings in art school, like in high school. Don't think they were allowed to do that, but she did.
Whoa.
She was like, "I'm just gonna fix this leg for you."
just gotta
That's
clean that up.
my
Yeah.
wild,
God.
actually.
What?
No, I was an art major, and then I was like looking at everybody else's pieces versus mine. I was like, this is not for me, you guys. I'm not there.
Well, but that's the same thing with me in looking at, like, I grew up for like the first 10 years of my life without depth perception, so that's one thing. But then
Yeah.
also on top of that, but like, I'm curious, like Avery, like into what you did with your art degree, because like that is definitely like part of the reason I preface things with not an artist is like I'm not doing the same things as people, you know, who started at the same time as me, or people who I feel are like contemporaries. So it's like, hey, what am I compared to them? But I guess that's not necessarily a question for you, but like, what is this line of art? Like, when are you an actor? When are you a writer? When are you an artist? But they're all artists, right?
And you choose
Yeah.
to be.
Damn, that's good.
Well, this is how I think about it is art is not subjective in an academic setting. It's, are you good at this or not? And I was like, I can't handle that. I can't handle the,
You're right,
are you
in
good
an
at
academic
this?
setting.
Because I consider myself an artist in many different things.
Yeah.
But being judged and critiqued in the way that I was, it's like I can do art in specific ways. Like I love oil pastel, I love doing this. I can't draw
Hell yeah.
people, but I can draw fish. And so
Yeah, hell yeah.
when everybody's like, you can only draw fish, like you're not well rounded, it's like, well, okay,
Fish.
bye.
Right? But I mean,
I'm
like,
gonna
scales
do-
are fucking hard, man.
Yeah.
do
Like-
art on my own terms, because I was like, I'm gonna be so burnt out if my entire career is people saying that I'm not good enough because they're not judging it subjectively, you know?
You're right.
There definitely is a balance with creative pathways in terms of it becoming a job and not just a hobby. Of
Yes.
that, it's exceptionally easy to then, you know, look at it in that way and then become burnt out and lose that passion. And creativity and passion need to go hand in hand. And otherwise it just falls apart. And also to your point, Michael, of like joining later in life to some of the creative parts. Like I, you know, only got into all of this creativity in the past couple years, because before I was like, well, I'm never going to be good at it, so I won't do it. And then I thought, I'm too old to do it, and there is never a too old to do it. And like, if you jump into the pond, you've jumped into the pond, and like now you are,
Absolutely.
you know, a creative.
Yeah, I was once talking to a friend who wanted to learn guitar, and he was like, I think I'm like too old to learn guitar because I can't be a musician now. And there is some advice that the comedian Travis McElroy said. A friend of his said, how old will I be if I'm successful in my career, like as an artist, if I start now? Like, will I be 40 by the time I'm successful? And he told him, okay, so if you don't pursue it, how old will you be then anyway? You'll still be 40, you'll still be 50, you'll still be 60. And it's like all that time you could have put into your passions. All that time you could have worked towards being this thing you want, learning guitar, drawing, acting, like anything, as a passion, as a pursuit for yourself. It's never too late to start, because it's like you're always going to end up at the same place no matter what. Death. So you might as well make that journey as meaningful as possible, right?
100%.
Definitely agree with this, but saying that you do have 3 guitars and
I do have
to
to
play them, so I don't know if you're the man to talk about wanting to play guitar, man.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, I have 3 guitars and am
Hell yeah.
amateur at best. I have played guitar on and off for 20 years, but never consistently.
Yeah.
I have one and can't play it for shit, but you know, it's there.
Hey, we all... Avery, do you have a guitar?
I have 5 and I can play.
Well, you can play. Woo! 1 out of
Show
4.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Yeah.
Damn, how dare you, one of us.
I know.
Oh yeah, I've seen video of you playing. You're actually quite good.
Right.
Thanks.
And so look at that. As a pivot, this is the Nerds Are Talking podcast, and you have mentioned video games and you have mentioned role-playing games. Video games. What's your deal?
What's your relationship with playing them?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a eloquent way of saying it. What's your relationship with video games?
Sure. I developed a love for video games very early on. My parents got me, what was my first console? I guess it was the NES. I did some stuff out of order. Also, I'm old, so the NES was brand new. But later, I ended up getting an Atari and a Commodore 64, 10 years after those were things. But NES was the first one we had at home, and was just instantly addicted. It was just, I don't know. I think most of my life there's been this element of escapism that draws. This is what originally drew me to games and movies and stories and I just wanted to get my hands on everything I ever could. After that, my dad, after my parents divorced, never knew what to do with me. He was a very traditional country boy and had no idea what to do with a creative kid who wanted to play video games and play music and stuff. Mm-hmm. So he would just kind of dump me at the arcade on weekends and be like, hey, here's $5, go knock yourself out.
That's great.
So I spent tons of time just in arcades and Golden Axe and Mortal Kombat and
Hell yeah.
Marvel vs. Capcom. Yeah, and after that, just
Capcom.
Yeah, it's still one of my favorites. Love that game. Yeah, then it was just one console to the next until it got to the point where I was having to buy them myself because they didn't want to spend money and they kept getting more expensive. So saving up for the console. I remember I went in halvesies with my stepbrother on a PlayStation right after they came out, and
Amazing.
I didn't really have any money, so I traded my Sega or something because I wasn't using it. And so he fronted the rest of the cash, and then because he was the one with the cash, he got to pick the game because I didn't have anything else to contribute. And his stupid redneck ass bought NASCAR.
Oh, no.
So the PlayStation demo disc, I played 400 hours on. It was the first 20 minutes of Tomb Raider and IQ and one other game demo. And I just played for hours and hours and hours because NASCAR was bored after 5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, just turning left.
It's we're just going in a circle. Cool.
Yeah.
It's not even Ridge Racer or anything like that. Well,
yeah, no, just straight up NASCAR. Yeah, it was terrible. But
I remember the PlayStation demo discs and stuff, and I was same thing where I was I played those a lot because I have never existed in a world without a PlayStation. I don't even remember how we got a PlayStation. We just had one.
Right, it was just there. Yeah.
And I had it the same time as a Genesis, and so a Sega Genesis, and so I was I thought those were contemporary things as a kid because we just had those and an Xbox and stuff, and but yeah, demo discs were big. Did you keep with PlayStation? Did you just get everything? You have Xboxes and that kind of stuff?
I was a diehard PlayStation guy, and I still only have a PlayStation, but I did have an Xbox One for a time.
The weirdest one to have.
Yeah, it was I was in between, so every time I move, a major move out of state, I usually just throw away and sell or give away everything I own and just start over because I hate moving crap.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
But also, my PS3 had been stolen at one point.
Oof.
Oh,
And
dang.
yeah, somebody broke into some kids. I'm pretty sure it was kids broke into my house, and because I had my PlayStation 3 and my entire catalog of games, which included all my PlayStation 2 games, because I had the cool PS3 that could play PS2 games.
Whoa.
And most of them couldn't.
Ooh.
And so they stole the PlayStation 3 and all the PS3 games, but left all the PS2 games. I'm you didn't realize what you were stealing.
Yep.
You dang kids.
Yeah, but
You don't appreciate the
you don't even
art.
appreciate the
You're
thing.
gonna
you
steal
stole.
it, do it properly.
Yeah, exactly. What am I going to do with PS2 games with no PlayStation?
Damn.
But so I didn't replace it right away because I hadn't really been using it much. And then eventually a friend of mine had there was a weird, when the Xbox One came out, this was during that era of them never making enough consoles and there being a huge shortage every time they launched.
Right.
And around that same time when the Xbox One launched, Target had a massive cybersecurity breach thing happen.
Oh yeah.
And so my buddy had ordered an Xbox One from them, and somehow through a hiccup of their weird data breach stuff, they sent him two. They double processed the order.
Wow.
And he was hey, you want an Xbox One? I was yeah, why not?
That's
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
What a sick glitch!
Just an accident. I'm like, you experienced identity theft, but you got a free Xbox, so you know.
Hey, win some, you lose some.
Yeah, it balances. The universe will take balance.
Universe balance.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had that for a while. It was cool. It had the whole like Connect bar and everything on it.
Oh yeah.
So that was different. But ultimately, I went back to PlayStation because they just have better exclusives. Let's be honest, or at least they did. Maybe not as much anymore, but yeah.
But now Xbox games are on PlayStation anyway, so you might as well.
That's the thing. It's all melding, and I was a PC gamer during most of that too. Anyway, so it was like anything that came out on Xbox, I was just going to play on my computer anyway.
That was my
Exactly.
thought. Yeah, I was like, I don't really need an Xbox at all because if I want to play
just
Xbox
like
game, got a computer.
It's a cheaper computer. Is really all it is.
Yeah.
They can't do your taxes.
Right.
Exactly. No,
I had
was
these same thoughts.
I was always a Nintendo kid, but I wanted an Xbox. But then when I got a computer and stuff, I was like, there's no point in getting an Xbox now because I can play these games on the computer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
I'm a boomer when it comes to Nintendo, like, because I started on the NES, I had the SNES, and then as soon as the PlayStation came out, I just, like, pivoted.
Yeah.
And so I didn't keep up with, like, the GameCube or the 64 or the Wii or any of the stuff that came after. I do have a Switch now. I've used it exactly once, I think. I only bought it because Bayonetta was on it, and then that game wasn't even very good, so I didn't play it that much.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but... yeah, it's funny now because like there's the people who are still diehard Nintendo fans. Like the games on Nintendo and like the direction that Nintendo went as a company is so different than it was like in the early days.
Yeah.
People are like, I love Zelda so much. They're talking about Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild. I'm like, I love Zelda too. Back when it was like a hardcore like D&D version 1 type dungeon crawler where you died every 5 minutes and it was horrible. And like that's my Zelda experience that I loved.
Yeah.
But like it was brutal. It was not cute and fun and silly and
No.
whimsical. It was a fucking nightmare.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't mean to date you two, but my
please.
first console was the Wii, so yeah.
Yeah.
I was grew
And
up
I
on-
played Minecraft and Sims. That was about it. Gamer!
Right? I mean, there was a weird period where like mobile games were first blowing up and everybody that played random mobile and the mobile games at the time were not good. They weren't like games. It was like Farmville and shit.
Oof.
And it was like, there was this fight between like real gamers and mobile gamers and it was just like, I mean, if you like video games, you like video games, but also the stuff we're doing on phones, let's just not call them video games because they're weird. Like there are legitimate video games on phones now. Like it's very much the same thing, but
Right.
there was a long period when it wasn't.
Yeah.
What do you mean my little game I play every night till 2 a.m. where I'm matching 1 to 9 and 1 to 1 isn't a video game?
I fear that's not a video game.
Yeah, it is a game and it does contain a video output for sure. But
Yeah.
It is
Just
a game that is video.
yeah,
But yeah, I think one, it is cool having like video games be around long enough now that there are so many different perspectives. Like you're probably in like the second wave of people that had video games and stuff, right? Like growing up with NES, like you were saying that you're going to like Atari and stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
But like, it's so interesting how things persist and don't persist, like going from like your experiences to then like my experiences, like my first console being like a PlayStation and an Xbox original. You can't say Xbox One for the past 10 years and
Right,
you don't know what it means, the original Xbox. And like and Avery's being a Wii, which I remember getting a Wii for Christmas and being so excited. That was like one of the last consoles my parents bought me. Before then it was like, okay, now you got to save up your your money to get these things. And you mentioned like Legend of Zelda being a hardcore like old-fashioned D&D thing. As we're coming up on 48 minutes here, that brings us to role playing.
yeah.
Then
So
that was a
all
good
three of
transition.
us are big
Proud of you,
D&D
that.
people.
Nice.
We are
nice.
in a D&D campaign together right now.
Hell yeah.
Which we do so often, and we haven't had like a month gap.
You'll say it's like once a
Our
month.
last session wasn't like over a month ago.
It's hard to schedule.
The end boss is always the calendar. Like at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
It doesn't help. We have people like me in London, we have people in Australia on there, and then people in America. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
that's
wild.
not helping.
That international group going. What drew you to, like, what is your experience with role-playing games? Is it D&D? Is it like Vampire the Masquerade? Like, what you looking at?
It's been a lot of things. I came to that later in life. I was actually in college, and a roommate, the person you would least expect to be a D&D nerd. He was just, tough, covered in tattoos and piercings, like, heavy metal dude, and just, I guess nowadays that's exactly who you'd expect to be playing D&D, but back then it was surprising, because playing D&D then was not cool. It was like you were the biggest, dumbest nerd that nobody wanted to hang out with. And he introduced me to it, and he was having to explain it to me, because I had no idea what it was, and I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, it's so hard to explain that concept to someone who it's never been introduced to.
Yeah.
So he just gave me the player handbook and was like, look, just go through, like, how to make a character. Like, let's say we were going to run a game and figure out what you would play. And so I just went through, like, all right, well, I need to pick this, I need to pick that. And then, like, my analytical brain kicked on, and I was like, ooh, if I make this, then I can do this. And I just started, like, working character builds, and it was like, this is so fucking cool. And I read the whole book. So we used to run games for one another. It would literally just be two of us. Like, one of us would DM and the other person would play, and like the DM would be controlling, a couple of NPCs or something, so that we weren't alone. But occasionally we would have other friends over, but we would just like do it after work or whatever. Just be like, hey, let's run a game or something. And I made all of the dumbest decisions you could possibly ever make. I started, it was 2nd edition. Technically 3.5 was out. We were kind of doing a weird thing where we were playing like in Forgotten Realms, but with 2nd edition rules. We eventually went to 3rd edition, but so I had to deal with THAC0 and all that crap. But I really wanted to play a vampire, which there wasn't even a mechanic for that in 2nd edition. It was like they existed and there were stats for them and stuff, but like as a player character you weren't supposed to do that. But I convinced him like it'd be really cool, and so he agreed, and we worked out the logistics of like what that was going to mean for the character and how we were going to deal with it and whatever else. And that was sort of my entry into like, what am I going to make? Well, I'm going to make a vampire. I was like, well, now you have to pick a class. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me think about that. And I was like, I'm going to make a wizard. And so 2nd edition wizard, D4 hit points. We were starting at level 1. And I made a vampire who cannot be healed, because he's a vampire.
No.
Right.
And I had 3 hit points.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And, 3 hit points and like 1 spell slot. And we go into this dungeon, and we run into a minotaur like at level 1, which was already a nightmare. And I used my 1 magic missile, and I'm like, okay, well, that was kind of effective, but now what do I do? I'm not going to hit it with a stick. And the fight started going badly. I was like, well, I am a vampire. I'm going to bite him. So I, as a wizard with 3 HP, jump on a minotaur to try and bite him, and died immediately, because that's what happens like when you do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, my first character lived all of 10 minutes and was not a power build at all. But he was cool.
pouring out for an OG. That's wild.
Yeah, but since then, I've played. I love World of Darkness. I played Vampire the Masquerade a good bit. I've played some games in the Cypher system. I did a campaign. Marvel released an official TTRPG a couple of years ago. I played in a live stream campaign of that. That was a lot of fun. It has no balance. There are better superhero RPGs, honestly. So I'm not sponsored by Marvel, so it is what it is. Cool. But it was cool. Like, they wanted to build a system where you could like play all your favorite characters and do all this stuff. But like ultimately, when you go to build your character, there's no balance. Like, some of the abilities are just so I feel bad for the storyteller. It's like, I made a sort of weird riff on Ghost Rider, and I was a god. Like, there was like nothing he could throw at me that could even hurt me from like the very first level. It was like, oh, I can just make that character not participate in this fight forever. Like, it's just, nope, sorry, bye.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's wild. Yeah, it seems like they're kind of rushing the go, but rushing to print something. It is fascinating, though, to imagine like how many of those like Marvel superheroes would just break a D&D campaign.
The power scaling in superheroes in general is like nonsense. It really one of the best descriptions I've seen is like it all depends on who's writing them, because even a given character from issue to issue becomes way more or less powerful depending on what they want them to do.
100%.
But through playing this and like figuring out these abilities, because I was reflavoring them, but most of my abilities came from like Ghost Rider's like school of abilities.
Cool.
And it was like, there is zero reason that Ghost Rider is not an Avenger, except it would be a massive PR problem. Because he could wipe the floor with most of the Avengers. Like
Right.
they wouldn't touch him.
Crazy powerful. It's
Yeah.
wild.
I mean, half of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. People are the kind of the same. Like,
Yeah.
if Quake was on there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It would be
Yeah.
like, unstoppable.
There's so many characters.
Michael's
they put-
surprised I know who Quake is. I mean, yeah.
I'm
You're like,
oh,
oh my gosh, a movie you know? This is insane!
whoa, Elle's seen something, guys. Sound the
It's a
alarm.
rare occurrence for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome. We're going from there. But yeah, so like with that Marvel thing, like even with talking about this, one is the way I like to talk about superheroes a lot is that they are sort of like commedia dell'arte characters, where you like have this set of characters that have like traits and attributes that you can fit into any story, and you're kind of like, oh, that's the weird clown that always hates himself, or that's Ghost Rider, and like you kind of
Right.
know what those things mean when you see Ghost Rider, and you can put him in any story, or Superman, or Spider-Man, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Shame that it didn't work out for them balance-wise.
I mean, it's fun,
Yeah.
but like you need a storyteller who's like very good at rebalancing things on the fly, and they just have to be patient enough to like deal with how busted. Or you just all have to kind of agree on some house rules of like, you know what, we're gonna just agree. Like what I did by the end of it is I just stopped doing things. It's like I could, like we had a guest. We would have guest people come on to play villains and stuff, and like there was one where the very first turn I just like locked down the guest and they didn't get to play, and I was like, that felt so bad, and I wasn't even trying to do that. It just happened, and so
oops,
I was like, I
removed you from
used
the
my
episode.
one ability, and you just failed your like escape roll like 12 times, and it's like, well, you don't get to play. Sorry. So I just had to like nerf myself a little bit. Like I'm just gonna not do this particular combination of things that makes me impossible to, because I was impossible to hurt. I made it impossible for anybody to fight me. It was the irony, the character design. I wanted him to be an extreme pacifist. He's like his abilities were like Ghost Rider-ish, but the concept was more Punisher-ish, in that like he had this really dark military history and had like done a lot of messed up stuff. And when he came home, like had like sworn to just not hurt people. Like that was his, I'm not going to hurt people anymore. And then he got possessed by this weird entity thing. He gets all these crazy powers, but I was trying to cherry pick all the powers. Like the reason the whole concept came from, there was a line, because it's Marvel, there was a line of powers based around firearm handling. But part of the rules of the system is that you can't kill anybody. Like it's sort of a no-no because it's Marvel and people don't die and there are no stakes unless they turn into dust.
Right.
So
They die all the time in the movies, like right at the edges of the screen, people getting shoved over
yeah,
things.
poof, yeah, they're dead, but you never see it. I mean, we're not going to talk about it.
Don't worry, kids.
They're just
So-
sleeping.
Yeah, it was most of the firearms line. There were a few abilities that actually did damage, but most of them were like psychic damage, and it's like the idea of like suppressing fire, where you're not hurting someone, but you're affecting them by wielding a firearm.
Wow.
And so I thought the idea of psychic guns was just really fucking cool.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what if I just reflavor this all, and I take those non-lethal abilities specifically, and then I just reflavor them as like he's firing psychic bullets that are like screwing with people's head.
Cool.
So the whole thing was supposed to be very like, he's a pacifist, he doesn't hurt people, but it turned into he's just a crowd control monster that can just make you not exist. And it was just, he was terrifying, and he wasn't supposed to be.
That's honestly a great character for a comic, like for a story.
Yeah.
Like having these, like a kind of Legion type situation of like having someone who is like this godlike character that is like, does not want to hurt anyone. That's cool.
Yeah, it was like, the idea was this like push and pull between him, a little bit like Venom, where it's like the entity was like very vengeful and wanted to hurt people, and like the host was like, hey, he was tampering it down basically, and like the terrifying thing that was left was him holding it in check. Like if it ever came loose, it would have been really bad.
Sick.
But yeah, it just turned out he was impossible. He could blink like Nightcrawler. He had Ghost Rider's chains, and he could just lock somebody in place forever. And they like so at level 2 or whatever, when you get the levels were weird. There were only 5. But like level 1 or 2, whenever you get that ability, the escape roll is a 20, which is like almost the highest you can roll. Like it was an impossible to escape ability that you get first, basically.
Yeah. Holy crap.
It'd be like having power word kill at level 2 in D&D or something. It was just like, it was insane.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
That is, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
my writer brain is kind of taking off and like, that's such a good idea. I would love to like see a properly like written story with that kind of character. Like,
he was so much fun. I love the character.
Yeah.
It was great. I love a character that lets me. I get accused of monologuing. I also get accused of always making the Riz character, even if I don't have a charismatic character, because I'll just monologue on people.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's just like, you just always make the face. I'm like, what? That wasn't my fault, because all of his abilities were written to be like ego based, which ego was Marvel's like charisma stat.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, then I played in this Cypher System campaign, and I made another charisma character accidentally. And
oops. Oh
yeah.
no, I made such a cool guy that everyone likes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I was trying to make him.
Sorry guys, I'm cool.
I keep landing. Yeah, I think it's just I like to talk when I'm in character. I don't like to talk that much in person, but yeah, I love a good. I told them to stop inviting me to campaigns and just let me guest spot as a villain, because I just like to deliver a good monologue. I just want to come in, threaten all your people, and then they can kill me. It's fine.
Yeah.
There you go.
Way to do it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, in our campaign, I like playing an awkward character. I'm playing a dragonborn, like a bard warlock multi-class, and so charisma is like my main stat and stuff for both of those for spellcasting. But I'm just like a socially awkward guy that does not want to like deal with stuff.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I just want to play my music. And so I'm like hiding behind other characters, and I'm like dealing with stuff. I'm the biggest one in the party, and so I like the irony of having that kind of like situation. I end up talking more honestly than I thought that I would, though, as one does.
Yep.
And also like to a point you said earlier about like who wants to really play as like a regular human like yourself. And then, not to put you on blast, Avery, but Avery's the only one in the campaign who's playing a human.
Yeah, I play a human druid who has no social skills.
That tracks for a druid. I think it makes sense.
That's like, look,
I love it when there's one human. I think if the whole party played humans, it would be super boring. But when like everybody's really weird, and then there's just one human who's just like, what the fuck? Like,
No, literally, I'm like, okay, there's a goblin and there's a 7-foot tall dragonborn. Who are these people? I want to go home.
How did I get here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one of my longest running D&D campaigns, it was like I was playing a Fallen Aasimar, and one of my good friends was playing a Dragonborn. Everybody was weird. And then there was this one guy who played an 18-year-old human wizard, and he was just like, he was just young and didn't know anything, and like the world was insane. And he did a really good. He was pretty young when he started the campaign, but like
awesome.
he did a really good job of just being bewildered by everything. It was just like, what?
That's great.
That's great. Yeah, you need one in a similar way to improv or act. Like you need a voice of reason, right?
Yeah.
You need like somebody for whom someone who can react to the world as like a lens, even with D&D. Because what is D&D? And all of these games, like you used to talking about nerfing yourself with that Marvel game, of like this is all just collaborative storytelling. And so like you can win, you can build a character to win and to be like the most efficient, but you're not like playing a video game. You're just talking with your friends. You're having this like collaborative experience. It all is just storytelling, right? Yeah. And that's such a cool part of it.
At the end of the day, I want to serve the narrative. I want a cool story. That D&D campaign I mentioned, my character in that game, with the DM in that game was very fluid with like letting your characters be super strong. His world was also kind of overtuned, so he wanted you to be a little too strong. But it was to the point that like we were kind of broken. I was playing an Echo Knight Sorcerer, and I was just a friggin' monster. But I also had like magical tattoos, and like I could triple wield. I had a magical arm that could pull out a shield while I was two-handing a great axe. Like it was just
that's awesome.
So I was like, I had Great Weapon Master, two-handed great axe and a shield. So my AC was like 32 because I could also cast shield. It was nuts. But like ultimately we went and fought a god, because what else do you do when you're that damn strong?
100%. You gotta.
It took like 4 sessions. It was like the most insane combat that ever existed.
Oh, that's awesome.
And at the end, we all died. And it was like there was at the end, well, not all of us. A couple people got away, but most of us died. But there was a moment at the end where I was the only one left standing, and he was close. Like we almost had him. And I was like, we could actually metagame this and win, but this is so cool. Like I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, like going up against a god, the only real way that you heighten that is like you either win or you lose, and that it's cool that you are like, it's more interesting for us to lose here. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was like, I'm still standing. I'm about to die, but it took you all of this.
Yeah.
To beat me. That's neat. Wow. So what is like your favorite, is D&D your favorite role-playing game? World of Darkness?
I think
Apocalypse World?
Yeah, it depends. I think D&D is my favorite just because I have the most exposure to it and the most time with it. And I'm more deeply familiar with like how to build characters that'll serve the narrative because I usually with a character concept, like I start with the idea of who they are and then I figure out what that means in terms of mechanics afterwards. I mean, occasionally I'll have just like an itch to play a caster or something, but like with that Echo Knight Sorcerer, he started, I knew he would probably have some sort of a magical flavor at some point, but he started, I just wanted to play a Fallen Aasimar. And so I started working out what is the storyline for that? Like, why is he a fallen Aasimar? And so he was like a Fist of Helm and served in the Astral Sea, and then like committed an atrocity and got blasted down to the primary plane. And that's when he developed this like fallen persona. And I treated his Echo. I chose Echo Knight because I wanted there to be trauma related to that. And so I treated his Echo as like his ego personified, splitting off from him.
Cool.
And it was like all of his internal like self-loathing and stuff that would just manifest as a second copy of him, essentially. And so they would literally argue, and it was interesting. I have a thing about possessed characters. I don't know why.
I was noticing that.
Yeah, it happens more often than I'd like to admit. But
That's cool, though.
It's such a cool trope. Like again, with me being multi-classing with Warlock, of our DM plays my patron who is like an old wizard ghost, like who wanted to be a lich, but then was like a failed lich, and when he was failing to be a lich, he realized all the horrible things he'd done in his life, and thought like if he made it through this to try to make up for it. So he keeps trying to push my character into doing good, even though my guy's just like, I just want to play music, it's fine, I don't need this. And then also is just the biggest asshole in the world because he was evil, and so even though he wants to do good, he's like such a dick, and our DM has such a fun time just fighting with me.
It's so fun to watch.
Yeah, I love an asshole with a heart of gold. It's a great combination. It's just like, I'm going to do the right thing, but you're going to be miserable while I do it.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh my god, you're such a fucking idiot. You didn't do this. Come on. Like, it's the funniest thing to watch.
It's basically doing this like weird little Abbott and Costello bit during the campaign, and also just in general, like having that kind of possessed characters with that tension. It gives you built-in tension. You come up with some cool characters.
I think part of my learning, because to become an actor, one of the things my coach immediately told me is like, you have to know yourself better than anything else. Like you have to be self-aware. And what I'm learning is I just had a lot of repressed shit, and that tends to come out in characters.
That's fair.
Yeah,
you're bringing your baggage along. Is that
pretty much? It's like it was me finding a way to contextualize the things that I was feeling, I suppose. But yeah, I love
trauma if you can't use it for creativity. Like
exactly.
Yeah, right. What good is it otherwise? Exactly. But yeah, I want characters to struggle. Like I never want to just go into D&D. Like a lot of people when they first come to the game, it's like, how do I make the cool badass barbarian that just smashes everything? And like that's fine, but it's so boring. Like after game 2, you're going to be bored out of your mind. If they're not struggling with something 100%. Or suffering from something, like there has to be something.
Yes. Yeah. You need conflict. You need something to latch onto. Has have you noticed more so like that D&D helping you with your acting and with the rest of your creative endeavors? Yeah, I think, or vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, I think role-playing in general is what kind of led me to think that I could be an actor, even a voice actor, like because I had some experience in that regard.
Right.
Because there are similarities. I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's sort of a mix, right, of like improv and acting and storytelling and a lot of things. But yeah, I think there's a certain reflexive training to slip into a character that I probably wouldn't have if I had been doing that for years, where some people have to learn to kind of let go of themselves and be someone else.
Right.
So for certain, I think it's probably easier than it would have been. I don't know that it's necessarily like the secret sauce to doing a thing, but it's, if you're going to be a painter and you already had really great wrist dexterity, like it's going to be a lot easier to be a painter. That wrist dexterity may not make you a painter, but it doesn't hurt.
It's in that case, and more metaphorically in this case, like it's a muscle, right? Like
Yeah.
you have experience with that muscle, and D&D uses those same muscles. Like I did do like a little bit of voice work in my own stupid little like short films and projects and sketches and stuff. And yeah, I think that doing voices in that really helped with my confidence for both improv and for D&D, interestingly. Like I was the other way around.
Yeah.
Not until I honestly took that 101 improv class did I think like, hey, maybe I can act in something. I doubt it, but I mean at this point, like you talking about your acting classes, putting yourself out there, why put a limit on the things you're willing to try creatively,
Yeah. The biggest thing I walked into improv with, and it was a unique perspective, I think, and I've started trying to apply it to other things, but because my coach had specifically said, you have spent a lifetime building this like very professional tech career. And ironically, I'm covered in tattoos, but I was wearing long sleeves, so she didn't see any of that. She's like, you just have this very polished professional image. You're sort of tight. She's like, I need you to get comfortable looking foolish. And when I approached improv, like the first night, it was like, all right, everybody stand up. And I was like, fuck, they're going to make us do stupid shit. It's going to be lame and embarrassing. And I stopped and I was like, I'm here to look stupid. If they do that, I've accomplished my mission. And so I'm kind of approaching everything with that as like permission to fail. It's like, that's why I'm here. I can't be good at it if I don't fuck it up first.
Exactly.
Love
And
that. That is so true.
I always say to everyone how like improv is so good for literally anything in life and like just in general confidence and stuff, because it's all about just if you go and commit to being absolutely dumb and stupid, you won't be embarrassed and you'll have fun and it'll be good. If you go in thinking, oh, this is dumb, this is stupid, so then you don't fully commit to it, that's when you're going to get embarrassed because people can tell you're not fully committing and it then doesn't make it like good. Like it's such a helpful skill to build that confidence and bring a bit of whimsy into your life and like just enjoy it and try everything. And like Michael, when you're saying about the acting and stuff, like you never know until you try. Like with everything in life, it's that concept of go, give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? Like you end up not enjoying it or you end up getting told no. Like you might as well try it.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Absolutely.
That was one of the themes in my life I discovered through this whole, like, the Julia Cameron book and exploring is that, like, I was naturally good at a handful of different things, and so I pursued those things. And anytime I wasn't immediately good at something, I just walked away from it. It was like, if there are people that are better at me than this, why would I do this? Let them do that. I'll go do the thing that I'm good at. And I had stopped giving myself permission to ever be bad at things. And it's like, that's so stupid. Like, I've missed on so many things because I just was afraid to be bad at it. And it was like, I started taking dance classes and like, I'm terrible. But like, it's so good for you just learning to loosen up and move. And it's like, of course I suck, but who gives a shit? Like,
and like learning control of your body with dance and stuff. Like, that's so true. Like we were talking, we did an interview with Morgan from our improv class also, and she was talking about doing stand-up and stuff, and I was like, all the lessons and things she's learning from stand-up, like I should do a stand-up class. Like it's just another muscle. It's just another part of aspect of artistry to like learn. Like you with that dance class, truly in my brain I instantly thought like, yeah, dance class would be helpful. Like I could imagine that. Like it's all just skill and learning. And you're absolutely right that like if you suck at dancing right now, of course you suck at dancing right now. You're not a dancer. That's why you're taking the class, and that's like why you're learning stuff. Like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, like, again, you go into that with a certain level of nerves. Like, oh, I'm in a room full of people who know how to dance, and it's going to be embarrassing. But like, the fact that you're committed to it and you're just giving it your best, like everybody gravitates to that. Like all the different partners I dance with were just like super excited and supportive, and just like, no, you're doing great. This is awesome. Like just having a good time. Like it's not at all the experience you would expect it to be. It's so cool. People respond to you being committed to something, whether or not you're good at it.
Yeah, like with what Elle was saying, like with what you're just saying, like commitment. Don't be embarrassed to be where you are. Like just fully dance if you're dancing. Improvise if you're improving.
And the classes you're going to are for beginners, so most of the people in that room, like most of the time, are going to be the same as you in that same boat of like, especially when you find adult beginner classes, like, everyone's probably in their back of their heads having that whole, oh, I'm an adult and I don't know how to dance. Like,
Right.
but that's why everybody's there, is to learn this new skill and do it in, like, a safe space. So if you go in with the positive attitude and they go in with a positive attitude, together your positive attitudes can, like, infect each other and just, like, you can have a good time. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's been about an hour. Adam, you good? We thinking of wrapping the episode? I can always cut this if I need to. It's fine. Hey, if you're watching this, it means I forgot to cut it. Congratulations on seeing how the sausage gets made.
This is bonus content.
Yeah, this is welcome
where's
to
the Patreon?
Yeah, right. Subscribe now for extra behind-the-scenes content.
Oh, we're using that later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what else?
Patreon ad is just you.
You don't know what you're missing if you don't subscribe now.
Oh,
Wow.
That's a professional, baby. That's a voice actor.
I'll say, let's do, give me your money.
That's
just
even
in
better.
case,
That's
yeah.
the vibe of the pod.
Yeah, subscribe.
It really
or
is,
die.
yeah. We're really serious.
Because the nerds are talking and they need your money.
Yeah. So what is? So you've played this campaign, a lot of campaigns. Do you have any like favorite one-liners or mic drops over the years that stuck out to you?
At one point, like in the previous game I was playing as like that confident bard, I think at one point we were like fighting some skeletons, and I think, what was it? It was so stupid. Like, hey, no bones about it, and then roll a 1, and then just like trip and fail so spectacularly that I'm just like, oh man, that stinks.
That's amazing.
And then in the last game we had Elle's friend joined as like a temporary character, and I just kept being suspicious that they were a murderer, and everyone else was like, they know as people mechanically this is a friend, they're coming in as like a player, we already know to trust them, let's just trust them and move on for the story, right? But I was like, my character would be like, why is this person here? Who is this person? Whenever like she said something that was like seemingly correct, I'd be like, the possible murderer is correct, and like doing all this stuff and
then
annoying everyone.
You proceeded to roll 1s on every single check that you
gosh.
had. So
Yeah. I am at this point just playing like an idiot who's just stumbling his way through things. At one point, I am the one who solved a riddle, and I felt so like, thank God it was me who solved the riddle, the dumb guy, so I can have like something going.
And then it just went downhill from there.
And then it just went downhill from there.
Yeah,
What
we
about
looked at a
you?
lot of greeds.
Any fun moments and like exciting things that inspire you from your time?
I mean, to that vein, I learned very quickly, you always wait till after the roll to talk shit. Never before.
Yeah.
If you talk shit before you roll, you will roll a 1.
Yep.
Yep.
100%.
It's the universe's way of humbling you.
But
I
no,
gotta tell the 6-year-old I nanny that, because he talks big game, and then he doesn't know how to play the games we're playing, and I'm like, dude, take your turn, stop trying to trash talk me, like, not working.
Play the game, brother.
Play the game.
yeah, also,
It's okay.
pick your moments. Like, you can't drop a monologue every turn. Like, that's just, you pick your moments. Like, find the big moment when, like, it's the tide is turning or the fight is over. Yeah, that's 100%. But I think my favorite, it was that campaign I was talking about with the Echo Knight Sorcerer. Mm-hmm. And his whole persona was very much like, I will walk face first through a brick wall. Nobody stops me from doing whatever I want. That's, I used to work for a god. Who the fuck are you? And there was this like pet favorite NPC that my DM had who was like crazy overpowered. He was like a 20th level dual class warrior rogue that could just turn invisible at will. Like he was insane.
Wow.
Unrelated to this, well, it came after this. We beat the pants off of him because our party was busted. But half the party had sea invisibility, so he was like, ha ha ha, and he disappeared. And I was like, okay, cool. Anyway, but we were sieging this city, and he was a murder hobo. Like he was like he had united all the orc clans and like was taking over this dwarven city, and the dwarven city was evil because it was being run by this like evil wizard magister dude. So like we were also helping him siege it, but not because we wanted to like genocide the dwarves, just because we needed to get the dude, we needed a regime change. Mm-hmm. And so like we were kind of working with him, but like knew that he was not a good dude, and so there was always going to be a point when we diverged. Right. And so we're towards the end, and he wants to go siege the throne room and like kill the king. which wasn't on our agenda because the king was just, doing what he was told basically because he didn't have a choice.
Right.
And so there was this kind of negotiation. I was actually late to this game and because I had some conflict or something. And so they had already had a conversation earlier without me there where they knew my character would not agree with this, but they were like, we don't want to start that fight until he's here to say his piece. Mm-hmm. So they had just delayed the conversation. So our party had moved through the town or whatever, and almost to the point it was time to siege the throne room, the main castle. And so we're discussing with him, and he's like, yeah, we're going to kill all of them. We're going to install a new ruler. He was basically just murder everybody. Mm-hmm. And my character, to his credit, was Maldor thought of himself as a bit of a diplomat. It's just his flavor of diplomacy was you'll do what I say or I will smash your skull. That was just kind of how he did diplomacy.
Yeah. Speak softly and carry a big stick.
But he could also back it up most of the time. So it was he had, his intentions were good. But we were having this conversation and it was he had suggested, I don't even remember the details, but it was yeah, we're going to kill all these people and I'm going to install somebody who will be in charge and whatever. And so Maldor was negotiating for we don't have to kill him. We can, the ones hurting your people are gone. We're going to root out the evil people that are pulling the strings. Let's just, go in, clean out the people we need to clean out, and then let them have their city back. That's all we got to do. Right. So he had just said something along the lines of we'll take the keep and then we'll reinstall the proper ruler or whatever. And he said something he was being a smart ass. He was just you're not used to being told no, are you? And I just said, in order to be told no, you must first be asking a question.
Ooh, that's good.
Got him.
Ooh,
Still sticks with me. And then we killed him. But
yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, he summoned 2 dragons, and we killed him and his dragons.
You and your dragons. That's awesome.
Actually, I think we tamed one of them. But anyway.
Even better. Love a pet dragon.
Even better.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites. I miss Maldor. I'm sad that he's dead, but he died in a very cool way.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
Love it.
I miss him. That's neat. Yeah. My guy's named Douglas.
That's great.
What's funnier than spellcasting dragonborn named Douglas?
Douglas.
I love it. Yeah. Dude, names are the hardest part.
Sure.
You kind of want it to be unique, but then almost everything you come up with that isn't a regular name just sounds absolutely absurd. I've bounced so many things around. This is dumb. This is dumb. Yeah. It's
Maldor's
a fine
cool
line.
Name.
That is a cool name.
And it's got that mal in it, and it's Latin root. It's neat. It sounds neat.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted something Asimar-ish. His last name was Gentile, but it was GYNN''TEEL or something.
Wow.
So that was kind of a joke because he didn't have manners, but his last name was Gentile.
Gentile.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a delight. Hopefully, as our lives continue, maybe we'll get to play one day. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
Yeah. Thank you for being on the show. This has been such an enlightening and interesting conversation.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, as your career is on the rise, we'd love to have you back on the show sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Thanks, and that's it, everybody.
Is there anything? Is there anything you want to plug, Adam?
The person hosting always has to be reminded. Is there anything you want to plug? Where can people find you online should you wish to be found?
Yeah, I would say that's very sweet. I don't really have anything to plug right now. You can check me out on Instagram. It's @Solbein, SOLBEIN. That's probably the easiest place to find me. I post once in a blue moon. I'm trying to be better about
Makes
that.
it more special.
But I also hate social media. So it's if I have a cool behind-the-scenes thing or something, sometimes I'll take some shots and send it. I posted a clip of that the Jester video the other day. But
and go look it up. It's crazy. You do such a good job. You can really see the madness in your eyes.
Yeah. It's the easiest gig I've had is just walking around cackling and choking college students. That's
great.
Yeah.
And that was before you got the part. No,
that's why I was cast. I was already there. Just put on an outfit. This is perfect.
Right.
Yep. Just followed you around for the day. Well, thanks for being here. And this has been The Nerds Are Talking. We have been the Nerds. And
we have been
talking.
We'll get
one day that'll work.
Bye.